Let's now speak to the green industrialist and founder of Ecotricity, Del Vince. Hi, Del.
Yeah, how you doing?
Very good, very good. What do you make of this move by the Labour Party?
Well, I think it's speculation, actually, still about the 28 billion. That's been going on for weeks, as you said. What we're hearing today is Keir Starmer may say this, and he may not. My understanding is what Labour are saying is that they don't know the state of the nation's bank account, what it will be like if and when they win the election, and therefore they're not going to make hard and fast pledges of 28 billion a year for 10 years at this point in time. They'll wait and see what's possible when they take the reins of power. And at the same time, I think that's entirely responsible. People want a government that's responsible with public money. This government hasn't been. We've wasted tens of billions on PPE, a lot of it channeled to Tory donors and friends. Track and trace was a disaster. And this government are funneling money into fossil fuels, which is an incredible waste of money. We get twice as many jobs and 2.5 times the GDP growth if we invest in renewable energy. I think the case for investing in the green economy is overwhelmingly an economic one. And I expect that the 28 billion pledge or not pledge, promise, ambition, whatever it is, doesn't matter. When Labour gets into power, they will see the opportunities of the green economy, and we'll get to energy independence, which is, I think, goal number one.
I suppose, you saying the responsible thing to do is to wait and see. Was it irresponsible then, in 2021, to make the £28 billion promise? Because they knew we were some time away from a general election. They wouldn't know what the nation's finances looked like. They did make that pledge back in 2021 and have stuck to it for 2.5 years. That's
a fair point. I think the 28 billion number itself comes from the Climate Change Committee that advises Parliament on what needs to be done to get to net zero by 2050. And so Labour adopted that number a few years ago. I think it was not a mistake to do that because, the Climate Change Committee are a thoroughly professional body of people that put an awful lot of work into that number and said, look, this is what it's going to cost. And so Labour simply said, well, look, we'll do that because it's so important that we do that. But within those moves to net zero are massive economic opportunities. Energy independence itself will save us £1 billion a week leaving our country and going up in smoke, fossil fuels bought from petrostates and dictators. And that's the big opportunity that actually also needs no money from us as the public. And so there are lots of things we can do that won't require any of this 28 billion. And there are lots of things within that 28 billion that will pay for themselves many times over. I'm completely relaxed about what's promised now. We're months away from an election, possibly. It could be days. We don't know. The Tories are running scared at the polls. But once the election is announced, we'll see the manifestos, and then we'll see for the first time what Labour and everybody else is actually promising to do. Right now, we're just speculating.
But to be fair, Dale, we're not speculating. We take the Labour Party at face value. They made this pledge, and the assumption was that they would stick to it. You've given £1.5 million to the Labour Party over the last 10 years. Would you give money to the Labour Party again if this pledge is dropped?
Yes. I'm going to help them win the next election any way that I can because it's so important that we have a government that does something on the green economy. The Tories are investing in fossil fuels. That's the old economy. It's incredibly wasteful economically as well as driving the climate crisis. It's absolute madness. The UN called it economic and moral madness, actually, to do this. And so it's so important that we have a Labour government. And I think we are speculating, actually, about what Labour will or won't do. The 28 billion itself, is an arbitrary number, I think, and I think it's been misleading and it's just become a problem. What's really important is that we pursue the green economy and we take the best opportunities first, the ones that cost the least and give us the most back. And the old fossil fuel economy is gone. We have to stop spending money on North Sea oil and stuff like that and create for ourselves energy independence, drive energy bills to the floor and keep them there and create hundreds of thousands of jobs. It's a madly fantastic opportunity for our country that the Conservatives have turned their back on.